Pause. If you haven't watched part 1 and 2, go check that out first. It will come up in the cards across the screen and it will be linked in the description box below. This video is part 3 of 4. If you see text on the screen, pause the video if necessary and read it. The text will be important additional information. Just coinciding with the proper detangling is like, you know, I'm gonna say like the tools that you use are important. So tools will be another one that I'm just kind of inserting in there, you know. What type of tools do you use to help you detangle? Again, do you use your fingers? Do you use a wide tooth comb? Do you use a tangle teaser? Do you use a Demon brush? Maybe a Felicia Leatherwood? What kind of tools do you use? Make sure you're using the tools that are the best for your hair. You know, I wouldn't use a fine tooth comb on this, you know what I mean, on my hair. Like I first started out using wide tooth combs. I tried the Demon brush. I tried taking out 2 of the rows or 3 of the rows, however, taking out some of the rows so like it skips every other row or something like that for it to be easier to use on my hair. Still didn't like it, so I scrapped that. I felt like it was tearing out my hair, and I did the steps that I said, you know, I moisturized, had my hair like moist, it wasn't dry or anything, and I took my time to try and use the brush. Just didn't work for me. So wide tooth combs was what I was using, and at some point I just decided to start finger detangling, and I loved finger detangling. I think it definitely helps to get those smaller knots that you can't get when you are doing the wide tooth comb. So, you know, if you want, you can do that in conjunction, like use your wide tooth comb generally, but when you get to snags, you can always like go in and use your fingers. But I just decided to completely go to just using my fingers. And I like doing that. For some people, if you're not used to it, when you first do it, oh, it feels like it's gonna take forever. I mean, it really does feel like it takes forever. I am not gonna lie, like I was really dedicated. But even though it took that long, I got used to it eventually, and now it's just like that's all I do. But when it comes to maybe blow drying or different things, it's not like I'm against using the wide tooth comb. No, I'll use a tool. If need be, I'll use one. So what tools are you using? You know, I also have this scalp massager. So when I am washing my hair, I use that to massage my scalp and go in and everything. So you know, like how you're shampooing and you rub your scalp and stuff. So I rub my scalp and everything, you know, with the pads of my fingers and just go in and everything when I shampoo. But I also use that to help me to really rub. It vibrates. I move it around my head, and it really helps to get in the scalp. And it also helps for that blood flow stimulation, like stimulating your scalp as you're rubbing it, as vibrating, as going around. It feels so good, and I really like that. And that's another tool that it really helped, you know. So as an example of like an extra tool or something, you know. So what tools are you using? Make sure you're using tools that aren't going to hurt your hair but help your hair. Use the tools that are good for you on your hair. I definitely could probably go further in depth on the tools and stuff, maybe in another video. You guys let me know if you want something like that. Tools and things are important, and they also help. Next thing is going to be health. So I decided to talk about this because it is something that is a factor in your hair growth. It could be a factor as to why maybe you're not seeing growth. Could be a factor as to why you are seeing so much growth, and just many reasons. Some people have medical conditions, some people have different things. I'm not a doctor, so I would say consult with your doctor if you know you have certain conditions that may stop you from growing your hair. But I would say if you're using these tips and you know you're being consistent with it, then you should see some growth. But health also plays a role into it, and it is part of the tips. So let's get right into it. So let me tell you more on that. So for health, I'm gonna go into water. You know, drink a lot of water. Water helps for a lot of things. It helps for your skin. It helps for your hair. Water is just good for your body in general. So make sure you drink a lot of water. Stay hydrated out here, y'all. Stay hydrated. So drink a lot of water. I want to also say that, you know, your diet, so the foods you eat, also plays a role into, you know, it's like what you put in is what comes out. So it also plays a role into it. Now, I'm not going to say that I'm vegan or vegetarian. I'm none of that. haven't been on no strict healthy diet for these past couple of years. It's not like I completely eat junk food either. So, you know, yeah, I eat other food here and there, you eat out and stuff like that, but I also have a lot of home cooked meals and have cooked food and stuff like that, and incorporate healthy foods. So eating fruits, eating nuts, getting my protein in, making sure I have my vegetables, you know, incorporating certain things that I know that are important foods, and foods that I do like, you know, some healthy foods that I definitely like. So incorporating those and putting those into my diet. I'm mentioning it because although it may not be for me that I had to be on some sort of like strictly healthy diet or something like that, or really very careful on what I eat, or making sure that I'm eating enough of certain things. For some people, they may need to do that. You might need to do that in order to help with the hair growth, you know, so that's why I'm mentioning it. It wasn't something that played a big role for me and in my journey, but it could play a role for you. Again, everyone has different conditions. Their body is different, their body reacts different, so it may just be that that might be a factor. So I'm just stating that so that you know. Also, going in with that, it could be exercise. For me, I've exercised on and off throughout these 6 years, and never stayed on a consistent exercising routine, nothing like that. So that never played a big role for me, but it could play a big role for you. Now, I've always thought that if I did exercise, maybe my hair would have grown faster, and I would have probably gotten to waist length faster, because as you exercise, your everything's pumping, and blood is flowing throughout the body. Blood is flowing up to your head, and you know, your hair is growing out of your scalp and all of that. So the blood flow would help with your hair growth, because it, like, all that blood flow and your hair, you know, your head getting stimulated and everything, that would help. But again, for me, that I never really exercised like that, so it wasn't something that played a big role for me. But I believe that if I did it, it would have just boosted and aided in my hair growing, and my hair probably would have grown faster than what it did. That's what I assume. And I believe if you're someone right now and you haven't, you know, you just didn't think about exercising and you hadn't done it, I would say try it out. You know, that might also help you too, you know, on top of everything else. Like, you know, make sure you exercise, and it's just healthy for the body to just do regular exercise anyway. And I am finally getting on my own exercise routine and regimen, and trying to be consistent and stuff like that. So I'm challenging myself to start that, because I do want to lose some weight, but I think that would also aid in, you know, me further growing my hair too. So I'm gonna see, like, does it help for me to grow my hair faster? And you know, if I find that there's really a correlation for it, because I already know my hair can grow on its own, but if it's a correlation to kind of help it grow faster, then I definitely will figure that out when I go on this journey. Lastly, vitamins. So vitamins aren't some miracle thing, they just aid in hair growth. And I think that they're also just supplements that give you extra things that you don't probably get from your food. Either don't get enough from your food that you eat, or you're not getting it at all from the food that you eat. So I believe that some of the foods that I ate, I did get some good nutrients and stuff from them, but the vitamins also aided. So I took the vitamins, like, I had periods of time where I took them for a while, and then I stopped, and I took them for a while. And it was also because I was trying to make sure I took them consistently, but sometimes I fell off. Be careful what types of vitamins you're going to take. Biotin can break you out, can break some people out. And you know, some people say, well, you know, just as long as you drink enough water, you should be good. But everyone reacts to it differently, so just be mindful of that. I also try to take like fish oil, because it has the omega-369 in it, and as well as hair, skin, and nail vitamins. You don't have to take just biotin. The hair, skin, and nail vitamins have biotin in them, so you can do that too as well, to take, you know, have those supplements. And just make sure you're taking your multivitamins too, just for your health purposes and everything, because once everything is good and healthy and working in your body, and your body is good, then it can allocate resources to like your nails and your hair, you know, and things like that, because these are all extra things. When it comes down to it, if your body is gonna go into survival mode, it ain't gonna be worried about the hair, like your hair growing. It's not gonna be worried about that. And what I was saying is like getting some nutrients and stuff from certain foods is like salmon. Salmon has like the omega-3, 6, 9 in it, and it's also really good. I've heard many different other channels and people talk about how it can aid in hair growth. It's one of those foods that can aid in hair growth if you're looking for certain foods that help with hair growth. And that's one of the foods I like, and I eat it every once in a while, you know. But I'm just saying as an example, not to say, oh, go out and get salmon because your hair is gonna grow. No, like I'm just saying as an example of also getting nutrients from your food, not just your vitamins, but the vitamins are extra supplements to give you that extra nutrients that you would need that you don't get from your food. But you want to try and incorporate, even if you don't go on any major diets, and try to have a balance, you know, discipline yourself and try to incorporate different healthy foods. You know, if you're gonna go out and have junk food, or even just eating out, like maybe allocate certain days, like maybe 2-3 days out the week you go out, or you have something out, and it's just one meal out of those 2 to 3 days out of the week. Or even if you want to just cook home all the time, that's great too, because you saving money. So before I go to the next thing, it's just basically you want to make sure that, you know, all these things are in order with your health. So reiterating, vitamins, exercise, the food that you eat, and intaking water. You want to make sure all of those are good. You may not stay and stick to things like to the T, but do the best you can to kind of be consistent and really have those things in place. That's basically what I try to do. Hope this video has helped you and given you value. If it has, share this video with your friends and your family. Like this video and comment down below, are you trying these tips that I suggested? Is there some new ones that I suggested that you weren't doing before? As a community, you can help someone else out by commenting and, you know, saying what works for you. It may help them out, you know. So let's just share all the knowledge in the comment section and be respectful, and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you'll be notified of my future video uploads, so that way you don't miss out on my future videos. I want to help you get to your hair goals as well and grow your hair to longer lengths that you've never grown it before or never thought that it could grow. Thank you for watching my video. I will see you in my next one. Bye.